Yes, go ahead. You should call us and we'll take a look at your plan and I'll help you. Yeah, you don't transfer a retirement account into a trust. That'll cause you nothing but trouble. But you can direct the post-death benefit there if it makes sense. I'd rather have you call me. Costs nothing to talk to us. Okay. All right. Anybody else with a question? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry to tell you, I can name all the community property states. Okay. You ready? But so the way it works is, oh, I'm sorry. She's asking about community property and the step-up in basis. The terminology is called a double step-up in basis for community property residents. In English, here's what it means. So in any state in this country, if you die, your share of the assets gets a step-up in basis. It erases the built-up capital gain. In a community property state only, the surviving spouse also gets a step-up in basis. So that's where you step up.
So my kids that live in other states will still get the step-up in basis.
Who died? So when you die, yeah, it doesn't matter where your beneficiaries live. It's the step-up basis is attached to you. Yes. Okay. Anybody else? Oh, of course, there's a million of them. Yes, ma'am, you. Oh, they sometimes read the obits.
Not everybody has, I know this was 3 years ago when my parents passed, they included obituaries. But obituaries aren't always published.
I know, and I got to tell you, we don't. Sometimes we'll tell clients if the bank doesn't know, you don't have to say. And there may be things you can get done before the bank finds out, because when the bank finds out, they'll often lock up the account. So, but we tell you can't lie to the bank. If the bank asks, you got to say. Yes.
Yeah. From online, how many trustees should I name?
It depends on how your family works. If the kids get along, you can name all of them. This is a big debate Roman and I have. He often favors one at a time, and I'm coming around to that point of view. I think Stacy feels that way as well. Too many cooks spoil the broth. So you want to pick the kid that's going to be responsible and do a good job and be fair with his sibs.
One more on Zoom. Is a trust successor changeable?
Yes. Pretty much everything that we do in a revocable trust is amendable and revocable, and you can change it. Every document, powers of attorney for healthcare, finances. So if you don't like who your healthcare agent is, we'll just redo your healthcare power of attorney and fix that. Any other online questions? Okay. You could, but I won't do it. Our firm? No. There are some law firms that will do it. Foley and Lardner will do it. But can you imagine, Quarles will too. Can you imagine how expensive that is? So we'll help you find a good person. If you need a professional, there are plenty of professionals that we deal with that will do a good job. So my eyes are not good for spotting the hands. Left hand side? Oh, right over there. Yes, sir.
The question, oh, there we go, it's working. The question is life insurance with a long-term care rider a good option? My answer is yes. You should definitely look into it and see if it works for you. I know that long-term care insurance is not for everyone because some people won't qualify. You do have to go through a medical exam. If you're a little bit older, you might not qualify just based on your age. And for some people, it's unaffordable because those long-term care insurance policies are expensive. But I always tell people your first line of defense is to look into long-term care insurance because everyone takes long-term care insurance. You can have someone come to your house, you can go to any kind of assisted living, nursing home, anything at all. With Medicaid, you have to do some planning and you have to make sure that the facility takes Medicaid. So long-term care insurance is great if you can get it. If not, then we have to look at some of the Medicaid planning options. Yeah, so how do you find long-term care insurance? So if you already have a financial advisor or a life insurance agent, start with them and see if it's something they do. If not, I definitely have a list of people I can give out to you that sell long-term care insurance and can get you the best policy if it's available.
We've got a couple online here. If only one trustee, but that trustee dies before I do, then who is trustee?
Well, the question is, what do I do if my trustee is unwilling or unable to act? Being dead, you're unwilling to act. So if your trustee, your named trustee predeceases you, the smart thing is to plan ahead and name a successor after that trustee. Our joke in the office is there's no extra charge for extra names. So if you've got 3 kids, you put oldest child first, then second oldest second, third, and then you're not going to run out of trustees. And we also always want to have a provision for filling a vacancy short of going to court if we can.
Okay. Another one is you overviewed 3 options for surviving spouse if deceased spouse is younger. Would you overview options if deceased spouse is older, already taking RMDs?
Then there are just 2 options for the surviving spouse. And that is a rollover, that's still available. And then we're going to use the surviving spouse's age as the measure of where we start. There's a table that lists ages that it starts at 72. And if you're 78 when you do the rollover, that's when you start taking your required minimum distributions based on whatever it says on that table. And that's the rollover option. And then you can also take an inherited IRA. So you can say, I don't want to roll this over as though it were my own plan. I want to continue to be taking this under my spouse's plan. And then I'll use single life expectancy table, which is not as good as the uniform table. So the rollover is going to give you better tax deferral generally than an inherited IRA.
Back corner?
Back corner, yes, sir.
So the question is, if you have long-term care insurance, should it be included in the Red Book? I would say yes. We do have extra tabs in the book for other documents, for trust funding and transfers. Having all of that paperwork in the Red Book makes it easier on your successor trustees to kind of step into your shoes and pick up where you left off. There is another tab in all of your books that says location list and key advisors. We also recommend you fill out that tab, again, for your successor trustees to know who is your auto insurance agent, who do they need to call to cancel that, who is your homeowner's insurance agent. If you pre-planned a funeral, what funeral home was it at? So again, just kind of an instruction list for whoever needs to step into your shoes and take over. Got another online question?
Yeah, last online question is, my mother recently decided to include $20,000 given to her grandchildren upon her death. We put a letter in the Red Book stating, and she signed it. Is this okay? What else should we do to secure this money can be distributed to the grandchildren?
Yeah, it should be an amendment to the trust. It can't be just a little note. You can use actually a note. It's called a memorandum, but it's only for tangible personal property. Tangible means I can touch it and feel it. And so money is considered an intangible property. So you need to do an amendment to include those grandkids for the $20,000.
All right. right here.
Well, there was,
Yeah, so the question is for Medicaid purposes, are 401ks, 403bs, all of those different retirement plans counted or treated the same way? And the answer is yes. Medicaid kind of groups all retirement accounts the same way. So if we have a healthy spouse at home, any kind of retirement account they have is protected, whether it's an IRA, 401k, Roth IRA, does not matter, it's protected. If we've got a single person or the unhealthy spouse, all of their retirement, however it is, 401k, IRA, whatever, all of that is counted.
If it comes from the Medicaid value
In what situation?
of your assets.
So IRAs are treated differently if you're married or single. If you're single, all IRAs, 401k, all retirement money is always counted. If you're married, the retirement assets of the healthy spouse are not counted. They're exempt.
anybody's, yes, sir, this gentleman.
You see the CDs on the documents, is that exactly the same as what is in the red book?
That's the idea. We were supposed to scan and then give you the duplicate of each thing that you signed in your book. If you've got a disk, the next time you come in, you will get a flash drive. How many still have something on their computer that will play that disk? Almost. Some people do. All right, great.
But they need the original still.
Yeah, but the original will has to be a paper will. Thank you, Roman. There's
I
a
see
hand
one,
in the
yep.
back, way in the back.
Yeah, so the question is more or less why can you loan money and then give it back? Why does Medicaid kind of make you jump through all those hoops? I don't have an answer. I don't know who created the Medicaid rules and who put these loopholes in place, but they did, and so they allow us to use the promissory note. I don't know why they allow us to use a Medicaid compliant annuity when we're able to, give money away and then purchase this annuity and get qualified. I have no idea why that's written into the laws. I just know what the laws are, and we have to jump through the hoops because that's how the laws are written. So you can't do this on your own. You can't just say, oh, I loaned my son $100,000 or even, sign a piece of paper saying I promise to pay back. It has to comply exactly with all of Medicaid rules, so you really need an elder law attorney to help you do that.
Yes, sir. Online.
Online, does bank oversee items in safety deposit box as co-owner removes those items after I die?
I got to say, I've never been in the room when that happened. I think they always have a bank employee, they give you privacy. That's what they're supposed, no privacy. So the experience of the room is they're going to stand there and watch you.
If it's a co-owner of the box, they can get into it, it's not successful.
I don't know, Roman.
No, I know that, that's kind of the situation. If you're a co-owner, you can get in the box. Just don't say the person died necessarily, just go in, you own half the box, take the stuff out of the box and you're set.
Got one more here. Can I request a flash drive to replace my disk without making a trip to the lawyer's office?
Yes, but that will cost $1 million. Of course you can ask.
And we'll give it to you.
Yeah. So a actual answer, not a joke, is yes, just call our office and tell us that's what you want, and we will mail out a flash drive for you. So pretty easy to do.
Any others? You were a wonderful group.
We've got one here in the front.
Where is it?
I think Ed, family concerns, that's coming in. And the clears that healthcare. After the Medicare, it actually should be removed from Medicare and then to another area of the facility, not, in my opinion, that's right. Is there a system or is it encouraged for somebody to look at it long as in 3, 4, 5 years along? Then they're look at the care that
I think it would depend on where you're going. And I think one of the things that we try to be experts in are knowing the communities, knowing the ownership groups. Some of these assisted livings are owned by companies who aren't even in the same state. You'll never see the owners. But some of them are owned by people who live in the state of Wisconsin. There's never a guarantee on Medicaid because, correct? Like there's never a guarantee on Medicaid covering it because you don't know if Medicaid will be here in a couple of years. But if you know the type of the company, the ownership, and that's what we try to do is when we're talking about setting people up to age in place and be somewhere successfully, when we're placing people, we don't want to place somebody where once they spend down on their assets, they're going to have to leave in a few years. Like we want people to be placed there and hopefully that is the last place, that is their final home. Like we don't want them moving every few years or anything like that. So, and we can help guide you in that direction.
So if you're in assisted living and you run out of your assets, in the place that I'm talking about, they'll move you to the nursing facility if you go on Medicaid. Is there any place that allows you to stay in the apartment on Medicaid?
Yeah, so if you're talking about nursing facility, you're talking about they're listed in the brochures that we have in back. There are explanations of all the levels of care. I know it's hard to see here, but there's explanations of all the levels of care in the state of Wisconsin. So what you're probably talking about is a skilled nursing facility, whereas if a person's privately paying, they can have a private room. But once they would go on Medicaid, typically they have like a shared bedroom or they would be in a different place. But most assisted livings, if they have a private pay like amount for 2 years, once you are kind of like grandfathered in and you've paid privately and now you're on Medicaid, most of the time they do not switch the room. They keep you.
This isn't a true assisted living with an apartment.
Okay. Independent living. There we go.
Because it's at level 5.
Okay.
So it could be that the facility doesn't take Medicaid in the assisted living, but the facility takes Medicaid in the skilled nursing. So I do these things all the time, multiple times a week. We always are working with the facility so that doesn't happen unexpectedly. They're not moved to a separate wing or a worse place. We always make sure with the facility that, after they've met that private pay obligation, yes, they can go on Medicaid. Yes, they can stay in their room. As far as the type of care or the quality of care they're receiving, because I get questions asked about that, the staff doesn't know. The nurses, the CNAs that are coming into the room, they don't know if you're paying out of pocket or if you're on Medicaid. You're getting the same care. So I have not seen that where somebody had to move into a nursing home to get Medicaid.
Well, they told us that.
Okay.
So my question is there assisted living apartments, because he's fully of sound mind and he just needs this level 5 care, that if he ran out of money, he could stay in his apartment. Is there?
All of them that I work with, yes, he would not have to move. I would guess most that Jesse works with.
The only time we see where people would have to move is like Stacy was saying, if a facility has multiple license, let's say it's a really large building and on one wing they are listed as a CBRF where they can get up to 100 hours a week of care, and then the other side may be independent living or maybe like multiple bedroom. Let's say a person privately pays for a 2-bedroom for 2 years. Well, once they go on Medicaid, sometimes I've heard where places will say you have to go to like a studio apartment. It might be in a different wing. But we could work with you on that. If you're needing advice, please talk to me later, and we can help guide you in the right direction.
This lady. Thank you.
Thank you.
We all tired out now?
We have a question over here on the left.
Yeah, so the question is why did the married couple get to use a promissory note and a single person didn't? And the difference is it's not between the annuity and the promissory note if you're single versus married. It's the fact that the money comes back. So with the promissory note, we're temporarily loaning the money out, and then there is a healthy spouse at home who that loan can be repaid to. If we have a single person who's going into a facility, if we pay that loan back to them, now they're over the $2,000 limit. And that's why we wouldn't get to use that process. We can use notes and annuities in different situations. It's just kind of depending on what is the right situation. Do we have a private pay requirement? Are we trying to get someone on right away? Do we have the assets to make a gift? So it's a lot more complicated than what you saw in the examples today. It just comes down to, who's available to implement this plan and what is the plan? What are we trying to accomplish?
Anybody see a hand?
Now I think we're out of questions.
Oh, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Hope you left us some food.